Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli wa sallima ala nabiyyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahu Akbar. We have a great speaker here now. Ustadh has been here before as well. So those who already know him, I think they don't need any introduction. But for those brothers and sister maybe upstairs, if they haven't been here in his lecture, so inshallah, just brief introduction. Ustadh Waseem Khan has benefited from studying with scholars from Pakistan, Egypt, and the UK on various Islamic sciences, including tafsir and hadith. Sheikh Waseem Khan also holds a formal educational background and has held the position of a head teacher at the Greenland Masjid. I think everybody knows the Greenland Masjid is, mashallah. Alongside leadership position for various charities in the charity sector of CEOs as well. Waseem Khan has also a special interest in studying social sciences and the master's graduate in education from the University of Warwick, alongside holding the master's degree in philanthropic study from the University of Kent as well. He utilizes his spare times towards inspiring and motivating people towards the teachings of Islam by regularly delivering weekly khutbahs and talks in the various masjid across the UK, and this is one of the mosques as well. Jazakallah khair. So I will hand over mic to the Sheikh, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه الحمد لله الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات والصلاة والسلام على النبي العربي المبعوث للناس أجمعين وعلى آله وصحبه من تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. قال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear respected brothers, sisters listening, it's always a pleasure to be here. I'm delighted to be here after such a long time. I was here before the renovation. I'm thrilled to be amongst you here, the next generation, in the next generation masjid now. The last time I was here, I remember the whole development of how things evolved with this particular masjid. Very small, kind of almost claustrophobic back in the days. Small rooms here and there, small masjid, but now by the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can see the development and how everyone is benefiting. I want to request, brothers, try and come close as possible if you can. Those at the back. Barakallahu feek. You know, almost, you've got to imagine if this was a talk. Let's put aside the fact that the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajmain, they used to be very close to the Prophet when he used to speak. This is part of the etiquettes. But imagine if I was telling you, or if I said, guys, I'm going to tell you in half an hour how to make £1 million. Would you guys be sitting all at the back scattered? You know, like, oh yeah, okay. You'd be like here, right next to me. This is even more important, more highly rewarding than £1 million. So we should show that kind of body language. You should be very close, unless you have a medical condition, no problem. May Allah give you shifa ajila, kamila. Ameen. Okay, so I want to thank Brother Abdul Qayyum. He's not here. Brother Ali Hassan, he's somewhere here at the back. I saw him when I came in. For facilitating a very important talk affecting the youth. I see many of you here from the youth. More youth than adults. So I'm going to have to tone down the language. The vocabulary has to be relevant to the youngsters. I even have to just change the structure of the talk as well. Many of the ayat and hadith I may need to extract and take out of the talk because it's going to go over your heads. I have to make it very user-friendly, as they say. Parental guidance, youngster, 12. Don't make it 18 plus. If I make the language a bit too over your head, you will say, I didn't understand anything. So I have to really tone things down. I began with a ayah of the Quran, اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون. Surah Al-Anbiya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that the day of reckoning is getting closer and closer and closer with every passing second and minute and hour, yet mankind is ghafil. They are preoccupied. They don't care. They are distracted. And in today's talk, we're looking at this particular form of distraction. Knowing that we have a day of reckoning which is going to impact us. Yawmun Azim. Allah says the great day. Yawma yaqumun nasu li rabbil alameen. The day where everyone from the beginning of creation to the end is going to stand in front of Allah. You included. What have you prepared for that day? And unfortunately, these devices here are stealing our distraction or our mental focus on preparing ourselves for the akhirah. Just to summarize, I'm going to make this into 4 segments. The first segment, I'm going to speak about the qimatul waqt, the value of time. The second is going to be about the neuroscience, the scientific part, the technological part, about how these devices are used to play about with your brain, the neurochemistry, how they are tapping in to your brain to give you that addiction. The third, I'm going to look at some of the social ills that are linked to social media addiction that you are seeing. Cyberbullying, trolling, envy, hasad, narcissism, always showcasing, I am so great. Yeah? And the last one is, the 4th segment is going to be about the solutions. Because if I tell you all of the things and the harms and the research that is coming about, how it's affecting you youngsters, and then I leave you hanging and I say, okay guys, thank you so much for attending and I'm going, you're going to be suicidal. You're going to say, I need solutions. Because many of you, wallahi, will be feeling the harms of social media if you are engaged in social media. If you're on the smart, you're feeling it. This is what the research is saying. You can't say, no, I'm just an odd exception. I'm one of those 1 in a billion or a million that it doesn't apply to me. I'm just like a robot. I've got no emotions. I don't feel anything. Yeah. My neurochemistry is absolutely fantastic. I don't get any dopamine addiction. I'm completely oblivious to what is taking place. I think you'd be like we need to take you into the science lab then, just test you. What kind of species are you? Because generally the human being is being impacted. You are a human being, right? So let's begin with qimatul waqt, the value of time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by one particular commodity that we are wasting. Allah swears by time. Wal asr. Many of you youngsters know this surah. Wal asr. Allah swears by time. When Allah swears by something, the Mufassirin mention this must have value. It's not just random. So Allah is swearing by the concept of time. That by virtue of time, innal insana lafi khusr. That every second, minute, hour that passes by, you and I are in a state of loss. We're losing. We're finished. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Except there's an exception. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Those who believe. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. And then they change that belief into action. Meaning, they don't just talk the talk. I believe I'm a Muslim. I'm a certain type of Muslim. The one who's going to Jannah. Special. I have a special card. I'm going to Jannah. Lekin he doesn't have any amilu salihat. He doesn't walk the walk. He just talks the talk all the time. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I'm going to Jannah. But there's no actions to reflect this. He's not serving the community. He's not helping himself to attain to go towards Jannah. He's not following Islam himself. He's not being a person who's practically engaged in giving goodness in society. He just sits around and tells everyone else, you guys are going to Jahannam, I'm going to Jannah. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. And he calls towards goodness and he's patient upon this. Very important point, because when you are on these devices, how are you utilizing your time effectively? Imam al-Shafi'i rahimullah said that if only this surah was revealed, not the entire 30 ajza of the Quran chapters, only this one small 3-verse surah was revealed, that would have been sufficient for all of mankind as to what is the whole purpose of life. You don't need any ahkam about fasting or doing this or hajj or this or that, all the other rulings. If only these 3 verses were revealed, that would have been enough for you to say, whoa, wake up, what's going on? Jannah or Jahannam, your place in the Akhirah is at stake. So this is the first point I want to mention. I don't want to go any further because you're youngsters. And I don't want to just throw too much Quran and ahadith at you. You'll be thinking, oh my God, I don't know what's going on here. Just one more. This hadith is collected in the Mustadrak of al-Hakim. Our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس. Take advantage of 5 things before 5. Wallahi, some of the elders who are sitting here, they will say, yes, I can relate to some of the things that I'll mention in this hadith. The first one is that many of the elders will relate to shababak qabla haramik. Our Nabi is saying, take care of your youth before old age. Some of the elders sitting here, they must be thinking, yeah, wallahi, I remember myself going to the schools here in Cambridge. Now I am taking my children to the schools in Cambridge. Where has the time gone? I used to be from the youth. I used to have so much energy like you guys here. Wallahi, in the blinking of an eye, within a few years, you will be going to university. Within a few years, you'll be married. Within a few years, you'll have your own children. You think, where has the time gone? The hadith goes on to mention sihhata qabla saqmik, your sickness before health. Ghinaka qabla faqrik, your wealth that you have before you become poor. Faragak qabla shughlik, your time that you have now before you become preoccupied. And then the hadith finishes by saying, hayatak qabla mautik, your life before death. And don't think that you are guaranteed to live till you're 70. I can sit here and talk about and roll off so many names of youngsters who were 12, 13, 14, 8, 9, 7, who were killed, road accident, just unexplained health issue, out of the blue, died. Allah hasn't guaranteed that you're going to live till you're 50, 60, 70, 80. You could die right away, youngsters. So our Nabi is saying, prepare yourself for the standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't waste your time on these devices, on your games, Fortnite, Xbox, PlayStation. So now we've covered the first bit. And I remember I said, because of the audience and your youngsters and you're like, I don't want to give you too much of the ayat and hadith. Let's say we've covered the first concept now. We've covered the qimatul waqt, the concept, the value of time. We've covered this now. I hope you've understood now that you have a purpose in life. Don't waste your time just medicating your boredom with no purpose in life, just on your Xbox, on your PlayStation, on your phone, on your tablet. You have a purpose. And that is a meeting with your Lord. You have to stand in front of Allah. You'll be asked about your health, your wealth, your iman that Allah gave you without you having to ask for it. Allah blessed you with the ni'mah of Islam, the beautiful teachings of Islam. Allah made you born a Muslim, but what did you do in that time? Second, now we're coming on to the second point. What is social media? What are smartphones? What is happening in the brain? The neuroscience. And this is how important it is for you to know this, because you are the next generation. You need to know these things, because I don't think any of you have seen a life without technology. You were born into it. We have. In the 90s, when we didn't have these things, we could actually understand what it meant to go out and play and enjoy ourselves. Football, cricket, wherever, run around, enjoy. sweat, feel the natural endorphins, feel good. Unfortunately, you don't know what that means because society has given you a tablet. When you were born and mummy couldn't take care of you because you were crying, she said, here, listen to this. And you were like sitting there at the age of 4, like a vegetable. And since that age, your brain has become conditioned to take in CBeebies and BBC and ITV and Teletubbies and whatever else, Peppa Pig and whatever else that you watch. Whereas if you go to other countries, the poor countries, or we wouldn't say poor, developing countries, go to Pakistan, go to these countries where some families are not privileged to have tablets and Xboxes. But one thing you will find is that child who is 3 years old or 4 years old is mentally cleverer than a child from the UK who is 10 years old. Shall I tell you why? It's simple. That 2-3-year-old child, when he was at that age of learning and development, he's going around touching, feeling, out in the playground, out in the outdoors. He's picking up insects, he's running around, he's kinesthetic learning. Touching, feeling, absorbing everything around him. Whereas we are sitting at home in our small living room watching Teletubbies and going, oh. That's it. We're just wasting our time watching the life of a particular cartoon character, and every day we just like this. And that child in Pakistan, India, Nepal, anywhere else, Egypt, anywhere, he is just active. By the time he's 6, 7, he is fully firing on all pistons, and our children are just like, this is sad reality. It's a sad reality. And you will see this when you take your children to Pakistan, Egypt, there. The other child is on a different level, and our children are struggling to even speak, no communication skills. Yeah, that child from Egypt, Pakistan, whatever, will bring in a small spider on his hand and he's playing with it like this. He'll show it to a 13, 14-year-old British born youngster and he's screaming, running out because he hasn't developed yet. Poor thing. So the point I want to make is these devices, they make you into vegetables, unfortunately. That's the way they are. That's how they make money. The Facebook, the Xbox, the Nintendo, the Silicon Valley, the whole industry where all these things are created. They sit down, they get the top scientists, neuroscientists, and they say, okay, how can we make money? We'll also give you money, oh scientist, but we need something to tap into the weakness of the human brain and the mind. So they look at the reward system of the brain, especially a particular thing called dopamine. This is something that Allah has created. In fact, Allah obviously has created the entire body. Allah says He's created it fi ahsani taqweem, in the best form. Everything, if it is balanced, it is in the best form. If you upset the balance, it's finished. Dopamine is something that Allah has created in the human being, that he has to strive to get it, and when he gets it, he feels rewarded. So for example, if there was no dopamine, you would have no motivation. So historically, dopamine was inside the human being and has been, so that in history, our fathers would have to go and work, chop the trees down, work in the fields, work hard. And then the dopamine was released when you would bring whatever it was, you would cook it, you would feed the family, you get some reward at the end of your activity. You feel good. Nobody felt good. Or bad, sorry. When they did a hard day's labor and their children were there and they said, here, have the food and don't even talk to me. You feel good seeing the end result of feeding your families. Dopamine. Providing bread on the table for your wife, your family. Dopamine. Then you would be motivated to go back out tomorrow and work again, provide for your family. Dopamine. If anyone felt lethargic in those days, they would go out, they would do horse riding, hunting. Dopamine was released through physical activity and physical pleasure. Then they understood that part of the brain. Let's manipulate this through the gaming industry. through the social media, where you just sit at home and your brain is pumped with dopamine. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go out and hunt and do archery and do wrestling. All these things are from the sunnah. You don't have to go out and work. You just sit at home and just watch this big screen here or go on this device here, and you're going to be pumped with dopamine. You see, that part of the brain is waiting and anticipating rewards. So how do you get a reward on a Facebook? Every time you upload a post, you get any type of interaction, a like, a comment, or a share, you get this validation. Your brain is hit and pumped with dopamine. You feel good about yourself. Wow, you put a picture up, standing on the beach, standing at home, wherever you are, and you're like, wow, mashallah. What's your name? Rayan. Mashallah, Rayan, you're looking great. Standing, and Rayan is going to be wow. He's not going to say, oh, my friends have just liked my post. Oh, my friends have just liked my post. My friends have just commented it on my post. They've just shared my post. Oh, I'm feeling depressed today. He's going to feel good because the dopamine is being pumped around his body. And then he's going to look forward to uploading as many times as he wants in the daytime to get the fix. Then you become like a sugar addict. Sugar tastes good, short term, but long term it's going to be bad for you. And we'll talk about this later. So you're going to want to like, comment and share, or receive those likes, comments and shares. But then there'll be days when people will not like your posts. And your feeling of euphoria and ecstasy will be, you will feel come crashing down. You'll feel depressed. And this is what the research is saying. Youngsters are feeling depressed because of Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. They're not getting the engagement that they wanted. At the beginning, they felt good about themselves. Now they're not getting the engagement, the feeling of euphoria. It's like you've had something, you've had it snatched from you. You're depressed. So, Rehan, for example, just as an example, now he doesn't even want to come out of his room. He's depressed. Mummy's asking, father is asking, what's up? Oh, I'm not telling you. But deep down, it's because nobody likes his posts anymore. So Rehan is now thinking, is it because they hate me? They don't like me? Is it because... So then he'll start doing other things to try and get more interaction or traction, as they say on Facebook, but nothing. So he's playing about with the chemicals in the brain. Instead of Rehan going out there, doing exercise, releasing those feel-good chemicals, he was getting them by sitting at home and playing, and now he's not getting those. He's feeling depressed. Instagram. What is Instagram? It's a gallery of things that are throwing themselves at you saying, look at me. Look how beautiful I look. Look how good I look. Allah says this in the Quran. اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا, and He mentions 5 things. لعب ولهو وزينة وَتَفَاخُرٌ بَيْنَكُمْ. That realize this, that life is, this dunya is nothing but la'ib, play, lahu, entertainment, wazinatun, beautification. Isn't this what is happening? Look at me, I'm so great, filters. And people want to look so, according to them, beautiful. They started injecting themselves, Botox here. Lips look like they've been punched by Mike Tyson or Khabib or any MMA person that fight. They have all in the wrong places because they think, and it's something that they're following, thinking that they're looking beautiful. Ajib. But Allah then says, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. But no, it's a deception. This beautification, you think it's just it's a passing enjoyment, which is a deception. So you need to understand, youngsters, that all of this is stealing your time. It's playing with your chemistry in your brain, where you should be going out there, exploring any hobbies, doing something, sport, pastime, learning knowledge, reading books, but you're gripped on this, and it's just going to make you more depressed. It's going to make you more of a person who lacks social skills, communication skills, no exercise. That's what you're going to become. Also, the science mentions that you have lack of focus. That's why the talks nowadays are only half an hour, 40 minutes. Because your focus we used to have talks for an hour and a half when we were kids. Now, because we cannot concentrate, because the brain is stimulated so much that you keep scrolling, and next video, next soundbite, next this, that you cannot even focus properly. So it messes with your focus as well. Why do you think TikTok videos are only 2 minutes, 30 seconds? Just enough to give you that dopamine hit. Do you know what they call TikTok nowadays, guys? Digital crack. You know what crack is? Crack is a hardcore drug that hooks you. So you're hooked because your mental neural pathways in the brain are taking in all these videos, and you're anticipating the next video to make you feel good. And then you're anticipating the next one. Let me just take this over to Fortnite, the game. Every time you break a box, you get a weapon or you get more life, you're anticipating the next level, the next place in the game where you're going to break another box, and your dopamine is being pumped around the brain. That's how they hook you in. So you anticipate, I've got another life. I've got this weapon now. I want to get the next weapon, next level, next this, next beat this person, next. Your dopamine is being pumped. And you're addicted. And your mum is saying, son, come down. The food is ready. And you say, I don't care. And then your mum comes half an hour. Come on, son. It's got cold. I don't care. An hour later, your mum says, come on. And you shout at your mum. That's how hooked you are. Just shut up. Leave me. Why? Because you're hooked. You can't help it. Instead of you controlling the game is controlling you because of the neurochemistry. And the sad thing is that us Muslims, who are supposed to be the best people who know about Allah and His Messenger, the ones who are supposed to revolutionize the world and be the front runners to show humanity how to live, how to be the best version of yourselves, we're right at the back. And people who don't believe in Allah, maybe there are even people who have issues with Islam. They are taking time out to learn about these things. They are developing themselves, and they are brainwashing all of us, and we are all the sheep. We are the sheep, and the shepherds are those who are controlling everything. Do you think these people, they just sit at home every day, 8 hours? No, they throw these phones away. You know Steve Jobs, the creator of Apple? He created a device, this system, and the first thing he said to his family and children, don't you dare have a device like this at home. No way. I know what this can do to people. You study, you become the best person, or the best person who can create other products like I have. Himself, Steve Jobs, he created the whole software and everything that millions of people have been using now. But he knew the damage it could do, so he told his family, make sure you don't. So you need to understand, guys, this is what this thing does. It tricks the brain so much that if you don't go on your phone or on your machine, your console, you won't feel right mentally. There will be a dialogue in your brain like you're missing out something. There's an acronym they call FOMO, F-O-M-O, fear of missing out. So you're constantly checking your phone. I think I'm missing out something. You cannot just enjoy the moment. You have to be checking your phone, and you check your phone and there's nothing amazing happening. You put your phone back. 20 minutes left, you're restless. 20 minutes later, you're restless again. I need to check my phone. You check your phone, nothing. Put it back. You're hooked. Inshallah, my book is coming out soon, next month. I don't think there's many books about social media or smartphone addiction from an Islamic and a scientific perspective. Inshallah, next month it will be out. I'll get Ali Hassan to you can get a copy of this. Real proper research. And then it's up to you to decide. I feel that I can say these things. I'm not perfect. Every one of us is weak. Kullu bani Adam khata. Everyone will make mistakes. But when it comes to smartphones, I don't have a TikTok channel. I don't have Twitter. I don't have Instagram. I don't have a YouTube channel. I've been giving da'wah for over 10 years. So I feel at least I can tell you something. I'm not a hypocrite. Right? I have a Facebook that I've had for about 10 years where I use, because I've been in charity and other leadership roles, where you have to push that particular organization. It's like marketing. I had that for that. Even now for talks, somebody says, share this. Okay, I'll share this. But I won't be on it all the time. I will deactivate their Facebook app. The point I'm trying to make is even people who are speakers and people who give khutbahs, I've seen, and talks, I've seen they are messed here in the head. They're seeing, he hasn't liked my thing. This other speaker, he's got 1 million followers. I have 500,000 followers. They're battling each other. They don't know what they're doing. The successful person is the one who is giving da'wah. If he has a YouTube channel, he gives it to somebody else, the admin. He says, listen, you take the password. You just upload content. Let me focus on everything. If somebody says any inappropriate comment, delete it, do this. But I don't want anything to do with this. Very rare do you get this. I've seen people who talk about Quran, Sunnah, and they're always on their phone. You go into a majlis, instead of them sitting and say, how are you? They're always on their phone. Because they're looking at how well their last video did that they uploaded. They're looking at their last Instagram post where everybody saying, Sheikh, mashallah, you're looking so great. And they're like, ooh, dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. If that is the situation of the imams, how are we going to be the normal people? So, I've covered the second point now, what's happening in the brain. Let's move over to the third bit. The third bit is the negative sides of social media. Some of you could say, yeah, well, there's positive sides of it. No doubt there's positive in anything. I watch talks, Islamic talks. Okay, great. I do this, I do that. Great. But what about the side effects? Like when the TV first came out, the TV. The ulama used to mention, because people say, should we throw the TV out? It's the Dajjal in the house, music and this and that. We are seeing weird stuff. No, they said, look, it's like a knife. You can use the knife to cut fruit and meat and good, or you can use the knife to kill people. It's how you use it. Are you in control of the knife, or is the knife in control of you? Same as social media. If you say, I'm learning the Quran, I'm watching, that's fine, beautiful. But are you really in control of social media? Let us see what is happening on the smartphones. According to research, many youngsters have suffered or are suffering unexpected levels of depression. It's shocking because of social media. This is the age, the youngsters, where normally you should be full of energy, passion, out and about. You shouldn't really have a care about what's happening in the world because you are like free spirits. But according to research, many youngsters, 14, 15, 16, you have depression. Why? Because Instagram, you're measuring yourself against other people. Okay? You're sitting at home all day. Okay, he's wearing the latest Adidas trainers. My dad doesn't get me that. Oh, I'm looking really bad. He's got the Versace, the Gucci, the Armani. My dad doesn't buy that. I feel crap. I don't feel good about myself. This guy in my class, whenever he uploads something, he gets 1,000 likes. Everybody likes him. But I just get 1 like. Is it because nobody likes me? Youngsters are like this. And you shouldn't be doing this. Because Allah has made you all unique. There is something special about you. But you don't know this. Because you're measuring yourself. You're looking at other people and then you're saying, I'm not tall enough. I'm not short enough. I'm not fat enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not muscular enough. I'm not whatever. Whatever society is saying, you're measuring yourself against this. And you get depression. There's research done on this. Another thing is hasad, jealousy. The more you showcase yourself, the human condition is that you are going to make people hate you. It's natural. We find this in the prophetic tradition of the Anbiya and the Rusul. For example, one quick example I can give you is Yusuf alayhi salam, his brothers. They got jealous that why is dad giving him so much? Like, why is he special? Who does he think he is? And as a result, they threw him in the well. They lied to their father. These weren't gangsters, These people, the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam, they weren't raised in some bad part of the UK, drugs and gangsters and yo bro, all this kind of stuff. No. They had the best tarbiyah. Yaqub alayhi salam was a prophet. Whose son was Yaqub alayhi salam? The son of Ishaq alayhi salam, who was also a prophet. Who was Ishaq alayhi salam? The son of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Look at the lineage, the tarbiyah. And still they came out like this because of what? Hasad. And you think you're going to showcase everything about yourself and people are going to say, show off, poser. I wish he dies. I wish he gets run over. Every time he's saying, oh, look at me, look at me. Do you think they're not going to hate you? Of course they're going to hate you. And there is research to prove this. There was one particular research paper that I read which said that the more you showcase yourself, the more people hate you. There's a whole thing done about this. So, but she's always like, because nobody will showcase the bad things that happen about you. You're never going to show that. Oh, today I woke up, my dad told me off. You're not going to put that on Facebook, are you? It always has to be something good to get the, today I failed my exams. Today, my mother said this about me. And no, it always has to be the picture perfect. I'm so great. So what you're doing is that you're making the other people think, who do you think you are? You think you're something special? So that's another issue that we have. Another one is trolling or fighting. Keyboard warriors, we call this. How many people have ended up fighting? You have divorce. Human beings, we have to understand. When you don't have time out and you're constantly seeing messages from the other person, you're going to explode. So just say 10, 20 years ago, if you had an issue with a friend in the playground, the only thing that you would remember is when he came up to you, you pushed him, he pushed you, and you have a little bit of a memory about that altercation, and then the teacher came and said, stop it! And then you're like, oh, I don't like him. But after a few days, because there was nothing else to make that situation worse, you cool down, and after a few days you say, you know what, I'm sorry about my behavior. And you say, you know what, I'm sorry as well. That was in the past. Shall I tell you what happens now? You have an issue with somebody, then in the playground, when the teacher stops it, you go home and you get a direct message. WhatsApp, oh, you think you're bad? You're this. And then you respond, yeah, you think you're bad? Then the resentment level goes higher. Yeah, you're this, you're that, and then it's like, and then you're looking at those messages every night and you're feeling more bitter. There's no time out. And then the person is plotting and planning, then you're plotting and planning. This is what happens because of social media. If you didn't have this, time away makes the heart grow fonder. You say, bro, you're my friend, don't worry about it. If you didn't have this, but because you have this, you're looking at attacking the other person. Then you start getting everyone else involved as well, the friends. You know what? This guy, you know what he said about you? You really want to get one over on the other person. It's all happening because of this. And now the last bit I want to finish on now, because I've covered the third bit now, which is about the ills. And again, if you were an older audience, I would have gone into other things, a bit more comprehensive, a bit more what social science is talking about, what's happening. But because you're young, I don't want to make you bored. And the last one is the solutions. How do you not become depressed? How do you control your phone and not let your phone control you? And it's simple. The same way that your brain has been programmed and conditioned, you can unprogram and uncondition your brain. It's called neuroplasticity, but it doesn't happen overnight. The same way you have formed these habits, according to research, it will take you around 4 to 6 weeks to decode this behavior. You need to have like a detox slowly, because basically what's happened, your brain pathways have been, it's like, I want you to close your eyes and imagine that it snowed overnight. You're in Cambridge Park now, and all you know in your mind is that you see like about a foot of snow. All around you, it's beautiful white snow. And then people start walking on the snow, especially one particular path. And within a day, you have a path that has so many footprints on there. The next thing you know, nobody's walking on the other places, they're just walking on the path, because that path has now been formed because so many people have been walking, there's so many footprints, you can actually see a path. That's exactly what happens to the brain. When you start doing things regularly, it forms paths and it forms a habit. It's like, people are walking on this piece of snow and you can see a path is formed in your brain. And the path is, you go on the games all the time. It's a habit now. The path is, you get on the phone. It's a habit now. So in order to get rid of these paths that have been formed, you have to be a bit strong, because it's going to test you. You're going to I can't do this. The first few weeks are going to be difficult. Depends how much resilience you have. Depends how strong you are. How mentally strong you are. So you have to do certain things to trick your brain. Your brain's very clever. The brain will always want to do things that are comfortable. It doesn't like to be, So for example, what I do on my phone, you'll never get on my home screen, for example, the Facebook icon. I deactivate the app. So if I ever want to go on Facebook, I have to do 1, 2, 3 steps to get to Facebook. The brain hates it. It hates consuming all that energy. It just wants you to go on your Facebook by going on to your icons like you can see here, and you see that Facebook icon and you see that red notification saying, come on, you got a notification. And then you hit it and it loves that, dopamine. But imagine if you didn't have that notification, because you have taken off the app so you do not see the app. And to activate the app, you have to go into Google Play Store. You have to download the app again. You have to wait for it to buffer. And when it finishes downloading, then it takes another few seconds or a minute, and then you see things. You say, you know what? The brain is going to say, you know what? No, that's too long. So you have to create things. Another one is, you've got certain apps that regulate the amount of time you can go on your Instagram or whatever. You need to download those apps. One's called App Block, for example. There's many. Give that password to your mother or father, so you cannot override the system. And then your mother and father, for example, actually let them be the ones who put down, okay, you're only going on Instagram for 15 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day. And they have the password. So as soon as you're on anything more than 20, it will block you out. You cannot go on to Instagram. And when your brain is saying, I want to go on, and you're getting withdrawal symptoms, you cannot override the system, because who has the password? Mother and father. They're not going to say, oh, my darling child, of course I will give you. They know what it's doing to you. So you need to give it to your parents. Allow yourself to have 20 minutes. And then when you see the amount of time that you're saving and all the great, you're going to slowly start reducing your exposure to social media. And you're going to be playing sports. You're going to be reading. You're going to be doing all the other things. You will not be hooked on these things. Trust me, give it a month. You will know that there is a life out there apart from being stuck in these devices. That's another thing. The third thing is, before we finish, is do something where you are replacing that habit of going on the phone with something productive. Join a bike club, go on trips, do something regular, join a football club, come to the masjid, do something where you're doing activities where you put this away, leave it at home, and you're actually enjoying yourself. and that is releasing natural endorphins in your brain, the natural chemicals which you were getting before from the games, Fortnite. You're not doing this. You are feeling good, sweating, running around, talking to people, enjoying that experience, and your brain is now getting rid of the old pathways that were linked to Fortnite and phone, and it's putting in new pleasure pathways that are linked to experiences such as being with your friends, playing table tennis, like I saw upstairs, whatever else you're doing, playing football. Those are great endorphins. So you need to replace, set yourself targets. Say, you know what, I'm going to do Juz Amma, memorize it for the next 6 months. Yeah, and every time you memorize a few lines, treat yourself, or tell your father or mother, say, treat me. So that you're linking dopamine by doing something productive. Because every time they treat you, after every week, they go, MashaAllah, you've done 7, 8 lines. Let's go out and whatever you want. So you're looking forward to doing your lines of memorization and getting the reward. The dopamine is being given through a good channel. Before, you were saying, I don't want to do the Quran. I'm getting my dopamine fixed through here. Just going on here, dopamine. So I want to conclude by saying, brothers and sisters, that this is a big problem you're going to face. It's there in front of you. What I've given you is some tips. I've explained the nature of the beast, what we know as smartphone addiction. Now you know. And even before this, I gave you something even more important. The value of time, what Allah says in the Quran, what our Nabi said about don't waste your time, because you will be standing in front of Allah when you die. Allah will ask you how you spent your life. So we've covered Islamically, we've covered scientifically, we've covered the social ills that are linked to this, and I've given you some solutions. Now the entire talk depends, or what you've learned depends on you. Do you take these lessons and apply them? Or are you going to go home and say to your mum and dad, Dad, I learned something good, it was good, I liked it, but then you're going back to these things on your phones, and you're just going to waste 2 years and 3 years and 10 years and 20 years, and you're going to be a person who hasn't achieved anything. It's entirely up to you. It's up to you. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq to act upon what has been said today, to really understand the meaning and the value of time. And as Muslims, people who have been created to be the best amongst the creation of Allah, not to waste our time on these all the time, and be people who are productive, people who are leaders, people who are movers and shakers, not people who are on the receiving end of the artificial and false dopamine hits that people are getting. I want to ask you for 5-10 minutes, anyone has any questions related to the dopamine, or to smartphones, or to social media, or to anything, I will inshallah answer your questions. Any questions? Feel free, youngsters, don't worry. I see some of your parents aren't here. Don't worry, ask me any question. Nobody's saying yes.